Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I am your Evelyn Shorty, and today we're going to take a look at Jenny Sparks, a new DC one. This is from Tom King and Jeff Stokes, and I have quite a few thoughts on it. The cover, in particular. That's the cover B, and for Diamond UK reasons, that's the one I've got today instead of the cover A, which I actually prefer. And I'll get to why I went for the cover A preferably over the cover B. But it kind of ties in with my expectations of this one, because Tom King is a spectacular writer and has recently been doing some wonderful stuff with DC Femme-led comic books. I mean, Supergirl, 100%, fantastic thing. Absolutely love it. I can see why they're basing a movie on it. And Wonder Woman, as a month-by-month comic book, is one of the favourite things I'm reading at the moment. I look forward to every single time an issue drops. This one, however, is the first time he's doing a character which I already had like a lot of thoughts on beforehand. Don't get me wrong, I've read a little bit of Wonder Woman here and there. I think the Danny Warren Johnson one and the Grant Morrison are the two that come to mind. Supergirl, not so much. I think my first memory of Supergirl as a comic book thing was actually in a Superman animated thing, where they basically had it as a valley girl who cared about clothes and hair and shopping than anything else. This one, though, is Jenny Sparks, created by somebody who's... Was it created by him? I don't know. The one who wrote about her a lot anyway, piece of crap. But I still really like the character, and I was kind of concerned he'd get this kind of right, or at least right to my sensibilities. Some of you guys read quite a few of them before. And again, going to the cover, it made me slightly more worried, because the cover A gets it absolutely right. Don't get me wrong, it's still a passive pose, but it's a choice to be in a passive pose there. That, looking at the eyes and the way she's holding herself, that's somebody who's had enough of your crap, and that's very Jenny Sparks. This one, with the raised hip and the raised shoulder, the hands, fingers trailing on the exposed midriff, the chin to one side, the neck exposed, that one is a very different kind of passive pose, and I really hope I don't need to go into too much detail about why one of those feels more Jenny Sparks than the other. Now, all that being said, once you actually get into the comic book, he actually does a really good job. This is fantastic, tight storytelling. He introduces a lot of concepts. He has an awful lot of fun with layout and breaking down the narrative into weird little parcels, which work very effectively once you get what he's doing. But the big question for me was he going to get Jenny Sparks right? And I think he does, with only one minor exception. And it's one of those things where, in reading the comic book, it only really jarred on when I went back to think about it, because she is an overly confident character. Well, I say overconfident. She portrays being overconfident. She's actually exactly as confident as she needs to be. But as a blonde, slight woman, I think she often gets misunderstood, or at least people don't think she's as capable as she is. So her bravado feels like it's a defense mechanism to get people to shut the hell up about that kind of thing. And she does this throughout this comic book quite a bit. But then there's one occasion where she's on her own and she name-checks some people she's being sexually intimate with. And I feel like that doing on her own speaks more to her being a little bit uncertain of herself. And that doesn't strike me as very Jenny Sparks. Now, it could be there's a reason for that. For a start, although it's mentioned in an interview as to why the spirit of the 20th century is still alive in 2024, maybe she's going through some stuff which isn't quite being explained on the pages yet, and she's having some issues where she isn't quite as confident as she wants to be. Other than that, though, it still just, it vibed me wrong. But back to the actual story. The one thing it does, which really, really liked, was it breaks the narrative down. It has wonderful moments of what we consider to be a narrative of Jenny Sparks being her in the life and being given a problem by Superman to go and solve, and then her going and solving it. It gives great opportunities for her to be herself, and through dialogue and posing, basically get across exactly who she is for anyone who has not read a Jenny Sparks appearance before. But then the other side of it, we get these little shots into various other people's day in the life of kind of events. And they're all very mundane for the most part. I mean, yeah, there's one guy who really thinks he's living it large, but he isn't. There's another guy who's got a really nice dog, and I hope no matter what happens, his dog is okay. But I really like that kind of day in the life story. I've said before on various other videos, that's kind of my favourite storytelling thing to do sometimes. Two of my favourite movies, Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Empire Records, both play around with that. Let's just take a snapshot of a day and see how it works. And it is really effective here, and it leads us to a really, really good ending. On the way to that, it looks fantastic. Jeff Stokes does a really, really good job of keeping it simple but brilliant. He does 9 panel pages when he needs to. He does vertical splits to break it up so we get to different people's viewpoints. And then once we get to things going a little bit superhero, he does a very nice little subtle trick with form, just to show that we are dealing with stuff which goes beyond what we'd usually expect. It's not groundbreaking, but it does exactly what you want it to do. And also, when we get to those moments we have the cool electricity effects, it shows that he goes a bit above and beyond just being a really, really good artist in terms of three-point perspective and character design and pacing and all that kind of thing. He actually understands form and does really over-the-top dramatic stuff as well. Genuinely like this one a lot. With a couple of caveats for small little niggles. I really can't wait to see the actual explanation in book about why she's still here. I want to see exactly how that's going to play out. But I am liking it so far, and I hope you get to enjoy it too. I hope your store got enough copies, for instance. That's it for me for now, though. I'll be back because I've got a whole bunch to review this week. Make sure you do the social media thing, otherwise you might miss out. Until I see you again, though, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye!